41. When the first bombs began to fall, pilots all over the island jumped into action. At Wheeler Field, Lieutenant Philip jumped out of bed, strapped a 45 caliber pistol all over his purple pajamas, ran to find a working Curtis 336 Hawk, deployed by 36 pilots. They took off to engage the attacking Japanese pilots. Pilots Rasmussen, Lewis Sanchez, Terry Brown, Gordon Sterling, and Malcolm Mike Moore managed to shoot down a few of the Japanese heroes down the sea, but the enemy numbers were overwhelming. Yes, this is the surprise Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. They called it Tora. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the island, Kenneth Taylor and George Welch were just returning from an all-night dinner, dance, and poker party. These two brave pilots, still in their formal dress, raced to a couple of Curtis P-40 Warhawks, fueled and armed, and found themselves in the middle of a real battle. These two brave pilots caught up with the Japanese close to Pearl Harbor and Field and engaged the Zeros, Vals, and Kates with only 32 caliber machine guns. Taylor and Dawson quickly ran out of ammunition. Down to the Wheeler Field near the center of the island, refueled, reloaded with 30 and 50 caliber ammunition, and took off to fight the Japanese again. These two are credited with downing a total of 6 Japanese warplanes before their own planes were disabled. Both pilots received a Distinguished Service Cross for their actions that infamous day. 402 U.S. planes were on the ground at the beginning of the attack. Destroyed, 159 damaged, and 154 left on the ground in varying stages of repair. Watch the bombs going off. Listen to the roar of the engine, and you can just imagine what it must have been like with the real thing, with 189 Japanese Vals and Kates wreaking havoc all over the island, centered, however, on Pearl Harbor and Hickam Field. The first wave of 189 Japanese Zeros, Vals, and Kates hammered Hawaii for an hour and 40 minutes. Then came the second wave of 171 airplanes to continue the strafing, bombing, and dropping of torpedoes for another 120 minutes. A total of 360 enemy warplanes as the attack proceeded in Pearl Harbor and Hickam Field. The devastation was awesome. You see the Curtis P-36 Hawk on the tail of one of the Japanese Zeros. You can imagine what those confrontations were like with the few planes that were able to get into the air. On the eastern edge of Fort Island, in the center of the harbor, 7 of our battleships lay at berth. The California, Oklahoma, West Virginia, Tennessee, Arizona, and the Nevada. The Japanese hit first with Cape torpedo bombers. The initial wave of Capes hit the Oklahoma, California, Nevada, West Virginia, and the Utah. These Capes were equipped with special shallow running torpedoes. Would not allow the use of normal deep-running torpedoes. You can see a Cape torpedo bomber, the green plane with the red dot on it shooting in from your left, simulating one of those torpedo rounds. This would take away any claim that the Japanese might make that this was a target of opportunity. No, this was indeed a very well-planned attack. Then came the Val dive bomber, armed with 1,700-pound armor-busting projectiles made for 16-inch battleship guns and converted to aerial bombs. These planes dived down on the Nevada and Arizona. Any aircraft out here, the Vals, just like the one you see coming in from the right to the right now, steered it away from Nevada on the first wave, but the Arizona wasn't that lucky. A bomb dropped, interestingly enough, from a Cape torpedo bomber. Stabbed the Arizona through her forward magazines and exploded, touching off more than 1 million pounds of gunpowder. The sailor on the bottom watched the Arizona jump up at least 15 to 20 feet of the water and break into 2 pieces immediately. Forever in traffic. of the island, more U.S. Army Air Corps pilots were racing the air P-40s. Just then, Japanese Zeros appeared and started screaming. One of the P-40 pilots was killed as he stepped into his cockpit. Two other P-40s were down just as they got off the ground. Listen to the sound of sirens, the roar of the engines coming in from your right. Once again, the Curtiss P-36 Hawk replica out on the tail of a Japanese Zero, simulating the action that actually happened in the skies over the island of Hawaii. See the Zeros coming in from the left, doing the strafing runs. The Val dive bomber diving down to drop its special armor-busting bombs. Yes, this is an accurate recreation of the surprise Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, December 7th of 1941. We've taken you back to that fateful day. That flight of 16 B-17s coming from the mainland arrive and are immediately attacked by the marauding Japanese Zeros. In the confusion, the B-17s were shot at by friend and foe, and the Brighton crews landed one in a pineapple field not far from Hickam Field. You can just imagine the surprise on the part of the pilot and crew of those B-17s coming in from the mainland, expecting to do just a very flight and land at Hickam Field, and all of a sudden they found themselves in the middle of what you're seeing in front of you right now. Bombs going off, straight in front happening. Yes, that was it. One of the B-17 pilots, a Major Landon, trying to land, said, "What a hell of a way to enter a war. Out of gas, unarmed, and no place to land." 8 of the B-17s actually made it to Hickam Field. At the conclusion of the surprise Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, more than half of America's entire naval fleet had been destroyed or damaged. Nearly 2,400 Americans were killed, over 1,200 wounded, and at the time, 960 were missing. 188 aircraft were destroyed, 159 damaged, and just 155 left on the ground in varying stages of repair. 2 battleships, 3 destroyers, and 2 light cruisers were destroyed. 6 battleships were damaged. Our greatest naval base lay in ruins, along with our complacency. The following day, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt announced our entry into World War II with these words to Congress, the citizens of the United States, and the world.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. It will be recorded that the distance of Hawaii from Japan makes it obvious that the attack was deliberately planned many days or even weeks ago. The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage to American naval and military forces. No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory.
In the 44 months of fighting that followed, the United States sank every one of the Japanese aircraft carriers, battleships, and cruisers of the Pearl Harbor Task Force. Nagasaki, the city where the special armor-busting bombs were made, was destroyed by a U.S. atomic bomb on August 9th of 1945. And when the Japanese surrender document was signed on September 2nd, among the U.S. warships in Tokyo Bay was the West Virginia. Would you please join me in a moment of silence in memory of all those who lost their lives that infamous day. Ladies and gentlemen and kids, we do not intend to glorify war by this demonstration. We honor a time when our nation was strong and united. In the 3.5 years after this attack, we, the people of the United States, with 16 million men in uniform, built 100,000 fighter aircraft, 98,000 bombers, 24,000 transport planes, 58,000 trainers, 22 aircraft carriers, over 1,000 other floating ships from battleships to submarines, and countless thousands of ground vehicles. Our dedication led to the surrender not only of Japan, but Nazi Germany as well, and freedom for the entire world. We do this in appreciation of that dedication, determination, and effort, and extend our appreciation to the men and women fighting for our freedom across the world today.